The surveillance drone picked her up at 0300 hours, drifting through the debris field like a piece of forgotten cargo. No distress beacon, no emergency transponder, just a single human, floating in a standard EVA suit, approximately 40,000 kilometers from the nearest registered vessel. Is she dead? Krill asked, his three eyes blinking in sequence as he studied the monitor. Life signs positive, Vanna replied, her tentacles tapping against the console. Heart rate elevated. Oxygen at 60%. She has maybe 20 minutes before the CO2 scrubbers fail completely. Krill chittered nervously. Humans were supposed to be escorted through this sector. Supervised. Controlled. The Council had very specific regulations about their kind after the incident at Proxima Station. Yet here one was, alone and adrift, looking as harmless as a damaged satellite. Should we just leave her? Krill suggested hopefully. File a report with the authorities? Vanna's translator box crackled with what might have been a laugh. And explain why we watched a sentient being suffocate. The review board would recycle us into fuel paste. Bring her in. The tractor beam engaged with a low hum, pulling the human toward their cargo hauler, the Swift Prophet. Krill watched the figure tumble slowly through space, limp and unresisting. She looked small, fragile even. Her suit was old, patched in at least 6 places, and her helmet visor was so scratched it was a miracle she could see through it. Maybe she is just a lost merchant, Krill said, trying to convince himself more than Vanna. A civilian who had equipment failure. Maybe, Vanna said, but her tone suggested she did not believe it for a second. The human entered through the cargo bay airlock with a soft thud, and the pressure equalized with a hiss. Krill approached cautiously, medical scanner in hand, while Vanna monitored from the doorway with what humans called a healthy sense of paranoia and what Krill called basic survival instinct. The woman did not move. Her suit's internal display showed critical warnings flashing in angry red. Krill reached out with one thin arm and tapped the helmet release. The IT hissed open, and the human gasped, sucking in clean air like she had been drowning. Her eyes snapped open, wide and green, and very much alert. Too alert for someone who had been oxygen deprived. Oh, thank God, she wheezed, her voice rough. I thought I was going to have to do this the hard way. Krill froze. Do what the hard way? The human smiled. It was not a friendly expression. This. Then several things happened very quickly. First, the woman's hand shot out and grabbed Krill's medical scanner, crushing it into plastic shards with a grip strength that should have been impossible for a species with only 2 arms. Second, she rolled to her feet in one fluid motion despite having been supposedly near-death moments before. Third, and most concerning, she pulled a weapon from inside her suit that absolutely should not have fit in there. Nobody move, she said, her voice suddenly calm and professional. My name is Lieutenant Kira Vasquez, Earth Defense Corps, and this vessel is now under military seizure pursuant to Coalition Treaty 47, subsection D. Vanna's tentacles went rigid with shock. Coalition Treaty what? There is no such thing. Kira shrugged. You are right. I made that up. But the gun is very real, and my patience is extremely limited. So here is what's going to happen. You are going to take me to your navigation computer. You are going to show me your recent flight logs. And if you cooperate, I might not have to demonstrate why humans have been banned from 12 different star systems. Krill's chittering had reached a pitch that only dogs and other Krill could hear. You fake the distress. The oxygen readings, the vital signs, everything. Breathing exercises and biometric control, Kira said cheerfully. First week of covert ops training. Turns out floating in space is really boring, so I had plenty of time to get it just right. Now, navigation computer. Please. Vanna's translator box emitted what could only be described as a string of creative profanities. You humans are absolutely insane. So I have been told, Kira agreed. But we prefer the term creatively persistent. Now move. As they walked toward the bridge, Krill's mind raced through everything he knew about humans. They were supposedly a Class 4 species. Technologically advanced, but physically average. Emotionally volatile, but manageable. Definitely not supposed to be capable of fooling military-grade sensors or surviving extended vacuum exposure through sheer willpower. What exactly are you looking for? Vanna asked as they reached the bridge. Kira's expression hardened. 3 days ago, a human colony ship went missing in this sector. 2,000 people. Men, women, children. The last transmission mentioned a cargo hauler matching your ship's configuration. So you are going to show me your logs, and you are going to explain where they went. Krill felt his organs sink. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. We do not know anything about a colony ship, Vanna said, but her voice lacked conviction. Kira raised the weapon slightly. You have approximately 9 seconds to reconsider that answer before I start getting unpleasant. And trust me, you really do not want to see what unpleasant looks like. The timer on her wrist device began counting down. 9.8.7. 6.5. Wait. Krill practically shrieked, his voice box crackling with panic. We did not take them. We only transported the cargo container. 4.3. What cargo container? Kira's voice dropped to a temperature that could freeze helium. 2. Vanna's tentacles deflated in defeat. The sealed one. We were paid triple rate not to ask questions. It was supposed to be mining equipment heading to the outer rim. 1. Kira stopped the countdown, but did not lower her weapon. Mining equipment does not require life support connections. Where did you deliver it? The silence stretched for exactly 3 heartbeats before Vanna brought up the navigation logs. A set of coordinates appeared on the screen, highlighting a location deep in the contested zone, where no legitimate government had jurisdiction and pirates ran their operations with impunity. Thurrock Station, Kira read aloud, her jaw tightening. Of course it is. The biggest slave processing facility in 4 sectors. She turned to face them both, and Krill realized with mounting horror that her eyes had gone completely cold. You knew. We suspected, Vanna admitted quietly. But we are just cargo haulers. We haul cargo. We do not ask questions because asking questions gets you killed in this business. 2,000 people, Kira said softly. 2,000 human beings, and you delivered them to slavers for a bigger paycheck. Krill wanted to argue, wanted to explain that they had families to feed, that refusing jobs from the cartels meant ending up as debris in an airlock, that survival out here meant compromising principles daily. But looking at the human's face, he understood that none of those excuses would matter. Not even a little bit. Here is what happens next, Kira said, her voice returning to that terrifyingly calm professional tone. You are going to set a course for Thurrock Station. You are going to get me inside. And you are going to help me get those people out. That is suicide, Vanna protested. Thurrock Station has 400 armed guards, automated defense systems, and a kill zone that extends 10,000 clicks in every direction. 1 human against all of that? You will be dead before you even dock. Kira smiled again, and this time Krill saw something in that expression that made his species' ancient predator warnings scream in recognition. You really do not know much about humans, do you? We know enough, Vanna said defensively. You are emotional, impulsive, and you die easily. True on all counts, Kira agreed. But you left out the important part. We are also petty, vindictive, and absolutely terrible at accepting reasonable odds. When you corner us, when you threaten our families, when you take our people, we do not calculate risk versus reward like sensible species. We just get angry. And angry humans are the most dangerous force in the known universe. She moved to the weapons locker and started pulling out equipment, inspecting each piece with practiced efficiency. The thing about being banned from 12-star systems? That means we have pissed off 12 different civilizations badly enough that they officially declared us too dangerous to allow near their populations. And I personally hold the record for 3 of those bans. Krill exchanged a look with Vanna. The human was clearly insane. Battle-trained, exceptionally competent, and absolutely out of her mind. Even if we help you, Krill said carefully. Even if by some miracle you actually breach Thurrock Station and survive, what then? You cannot fight 400 guards alone. Kira checked the charge on a plasma rifle and slung it over her shoulder. Who said anything about alone? I sent a priority alert the moment I confirmed the coordinates. The EDF battlecruiser Retribution is currently burning hard toward this sector and will arrive in approximately 6 hours. My job is not to win. My job is to keep those people alive until the cavalry shows up. 6 hours, Vanna repeated slowly. You need to survive on a hostile station, surrounded by enemies, for 6 hours. I once held a position for 8 hours against a Kresh war party using nothing but a broken rifle and extreme spite, Kira said conversationally. 6 hours should be easy. Relatively speaking. She turned back to them, and her expression softened slightly. Just slightly. I know you were scared. I know you feel trapped by circumstances beyond your control. But right now, you have a choice. You can help me save those people and maybe earn yourself some mercy from the tribunal that will absolutely be convened after this. Or you can refuse, and I will take the ship myself and make sure everyone knows you were complicit in human trafficking. Krill felt his resolve crumble. What do you need us to do? Get me inside, Kira said simply. Make it look like a normal cargo delivery. Once we dock, seal this ship and hide. When the shooting starts, and it will start, you stay out of the way. If we all survive this, I will testify that you cooperated under duress. And if we do not survive, Vanna asked that Kira's smile turned almost gentle. Then at least you will die knowing you did one decent thing in your miserable careers. Now let's move. Those people have been in hell for 3 days already. Time to go get them back. As the Swift Prophet's engines fired and they set course for Thurrock Station, Krill realized he had learned something important about humans that day. They were not monsters because they were strong, or because they were violent, or even because they were stubborn. They were monsters because they absolutely refused to abandon their own, even when logic and self-preservation screamed at them to walk away. And that loyalty, that irrational, beautiful, terrifying loyalty, made them more dangerous than any weapon ever created. 9 seconds. That was all it had taken for everything to change. 9 seconds for a supposedly helpless human to transform into a force of nature. Krill suspected he would remember those 9 seconds for the rest of his life, however long that turned out to be. The countdown to Thurrock Station read 5 hours and 47 minutes. Krill began praying to gods he did not believe in. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.